The South China Sea is once again a flashpoint, a region where history, geopolitics, and national pride collide on the open waves. Tensions have reached a boiling point, with the Philippines and China locked in a dangerous standoff that has captured the world's attention. In recent months, Chinese Coast Guard ships have escalated their aggressive actions against Philippine vessels, deploying water cannons and executing risky maneuvers near highly contested areas like Second Thomas Shoal and Scarborough Shoal. These confrontations are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader pattern of intimidation and brinkmanship that has become all too familiar in these waters. For the Philippines, the stakes are deeply personal. The nation is determined to defend its sovereign rights and protect its people, even as China's sweeping territorial claims threaten the livelihoods of thousands of Filipino fishermen. These men and women depend on the sea for their daily bread, and every new incursion puts their future and the nation's maritime integrity at risk. Each encounter at sea carries the risk of miscalculation and unintended escalation. The possibility of a single incident spiraling out of control is ever present, raising fears of a wider conflict that could disrupt not only regional peace, but also the flow of global trade through these vital shipping lanes. The Philippines, backed by its long-standing ally the United States, now faces a delicate balancing act, defending its sovereignty and national interests without provoking an all-out war. Joint military exercises and increased cooperation signal Manila's resolve, but also heighten the stakes. American involvement is seen as a crucial deterrent by Manila, offering reassurance and support. But in Beijing's eyes, it is unwelcome interference, fueling a tense strategic triangle where every diplomatic gesture is scrutinized and every word carries weight. As the Philippines adopts a more assertive stance, sending more patrols and standing firm in the face of intimidation, the stakes for regional security and the global order have never been higher. The world's eyes are fixed on these contested waters, where the next move could shape the future of the Indo-Pacific. The world watches anxiously, knowing that every maneuver, every diplomatic exchange, and every confrontation in these waters could tip the balance toward peace or toward a conflict with consequences far beyond these shores. At the heart of the South China Sea dispute lies China's sweeping 9-line claim, a boundary that stretches across nearly the entire sea and encompasses vast areas also claimed by neighboring countries. This line, first appearing on Chinese maps in the mid-20th century, is not recognized by most of the international community, yet it remains central to China's maritime ambitions. The 9-line directly clashes with international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which sets clear rules for maritime boundaries and exclusive economic zones. In 2016, after years of legal wrangling, an international tribunal at The Hague ruled overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines. The tribunal found that China's expansive claims had no legal basis under UNCLOS, and that China had violated the Philippines' sovereign rights by interfering with fishing and oil exploration within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Despite this landmark legal victory for the Philippines, China has flatly ignored the ruling. Instead, it has maintained, and even increased, a constant presence of Coast Guard and naval vessels in the disputed waters, projecting power and asserting control. Chinese forces routinely block Filipino fishermen and government ships from accessing areas the tribunal declared as traditional fishing grounds. These confrontations have become more frequent and intense, escalating tensions and putting livelihoods at risk. Meanwhile, China's large-scale construction of artificial islands and military installations, complete with airstrips, radar domes, and missile systems, further entrenches its control over the region, openly defying the rules-based international order and raising concerns about militarization. In response, the Philippines now uses the arbitral award as a legal shield, rallying international support and calling for a world where all nations, big or small, are bound by the same rules and principles of fairness. Every encounter in the South China Sea is more than just a territorial dispute. It's a test of whether international law, diplomacy, and cooperation can prevail over raw power and unilateral action. The legal standoff remains a major obstacle to peace and stability in the region, with China's continued defiance deepening the divide and leaving the future of the South China Sea and the rule of law itself hanging in the balance. The United States is a key player in the South China Sea, projecting its influence across these contested waters. Its naval patrols and military maneuvers are a constant reminder of Washington's enduring interest in the region's security and stability. The presence of American warships signals not just power, but a promise to its allies that they are not alone in the face of growing regional tensions. This commitment is formalized through the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, a cornerstone of the U.S.-Philippines alliance. For over 70 years, this agreement has bound the two nations together, pledging mutual support in the event of external armed attack. In recent years, Washington has repeatedly reaffirmed its dedication to this pact, making it clear that any attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea would invoke the treaty's obligations. This public stance is meant to deter aggression and reassure Manila of unwavering American support. This support is more than just diplomatic rhetoric. Joint military exercises have become more frequent and complex, while expanded U.S. access to Philippine bases has deepened operational cooperation. These actions have not only strengthened the alliance, but also enhanced the Philippines' own defense capabilities, making the partnership more robust and responsive to emerging threats. However, the increased U.S. presence is a double-edged sword. While it serves as a deterrent to Chinese assertiveness, it also heightens Beijing's fears of encirclement and provocation. The military buildup in these waters has led to a tense standoff, with both sides wary of miscalculation. China has repeatedly condemned these moves as unwarranted foreign interference, accusing the United States of destabilizing the region. Each new deployment or exercise is met with sharp rhetoric from Beijing, raising the risk that a minor incident could spiral into a larger confrontation between superpowers. For the Philippines, this situation presents a delicate balancing act. While U.S. backing offers security and leverage, it also brings the danger of being drawn into a broader great power rivalry. Local communities, especially those near contested waters, watch anxiously as tensions rise, aware that their lives could be upended by events far beyond their control. The challenge for Manila is to harness the alliance as a force for stability and peace, rather than a trigger for greater conflict. Strategic dialogue and careful diplomacy are essential to ensure that cooperation with the U.S. enhances security without escalating tensions. In this high-stakes environment, clear communication, effective crisis management, and mutual understanding between allies are more vital than ever. The future of the South China Sea may well depend on the ability of these partners to navigate the shadows of alliance with wisdom and restraint. Scarborough Shoal, just 120 nautical miles from Luzon, is the epicenter of the South China Sea conflict. Under China's de facto control since 2012, the shoal is now surrounded by Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels, blocking Filipino fishermen from their traditional grounds. Philippine efforts to assert their rights are met with overwhelming Chinese force, turning the area into a zone of constant confrontation. Aggressive Chinese tactics, blocking, shadowing, and harassing, create dangerous situations and economic hardship for local communities. The blockade defies the 2016 arbitral ruling, which recognized the shoal as a shared fishing ground. Scarborough Shoal is a microcosm of the broader conflict. China's gray zone tactics versus the Philippines' determination to defend its sovereignty. The standoff here sets the tone for the entire South China Sea dispute. The conflict has now moved from sea to sky, with aerial confrontations between Chinese and Philippine aircraft adding a new layer of risk. High-speed encounters in contested airspace increase the chance of miscalculation, accident, or even deadly escalation. A single incident could trigger the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, raising the specter of direct U.S.-China conflict. China's Air Force is increasingly bold, challenging Philippine and allied aircraft to assert its claims. The Philippines must now develop new capabilities and rules of engagement to manage these aerial threats. The expansion of the conflict into the air signals growing instability and the urgent need for crisis communication. Without restraint, every flight and patrol risks igniting a much larger conflagration. China's use of high-pressure water cannons against Philippine vessels has become a hallmark of its aggressive tactics. These attacks cause real damage and injuries, turning routine missions into dangerous confrontations. The Philippines documents and publicizes these incidents, exposing Beijing's disregard for safety and international norms. China counters with accusations of illegal intrusion, fueling a blame game that clouds the truth. Water cannon attacks and near collisions are calculated to intimidate and wear down Philippine resolve, stopping just short of open warfare. Each incident lowers the threshold for conflict, making miscalculation more likely. The weaponization of water starkly illustrates how close the region is to the edge. Every clash at sea is followed by a fierce diplomatic battle. The Philippines uses photos, videos, and the 2016 tribunal ruling to rally global support and expose China's actions. China responds with its own propaganda, accusing Manila of provocation and fabricating stories. This war of words plays out in international forums, with both sides seeking allies and legitimacy. The dispute has divided ASEAN and stalled efforts for a binding code of conduct. With trust eroded, communication is fraught, and every move is viewed with suspicion. The diplomatic stalemate keeps tensions high, as both sides refuse to back down. In response to mounting pressure, the Philippines has launched a bold, four-pronged strategy. First, it is modernizing its Navy and Coast Guard, acquiring new ships, aircraft, and surveillance technology. Second, it has increased and publicized maritime patrols, embedding journalists to document Chinese aggression and control the narrative. Third, the Philippines is strengthening alliances, not just with the US, but also with Japan, Australia, and European partners. These partnerships create a network of support, signaling to China that its actions are a global concern. Finally, Manila is waging a diplomatic offensive, championing the 2016 Arbitral Award in every international forum. This comprehensive approach aims to raise the cost of Chinese aggression and defend Philippine sovereignty without resorting to war. The strategy is clear: modernize, expose, ally, and advocate. The Philippines' new strategy is a high-stakes balancing act, deterring Chinese aggression while avoiding provocation. The goal is not to defeat China militarily, but to make coercion too costly for Beijing. Every patrol and diplomatic move carries risk, as a single misstep could spark a wider conflict. Closer ties with the US also risk entangling the Philippines in superpower rivalry. Yet, hope remains in the power of international law and collective action. The Philippines seeks a stable, rules-based order, where disputes are settled by dialogue, not force. By modernizing defenses, building alliances, and championing the law, the nation aims to secure its future in the South China Sea. The journey is perilous, but the commitment to sovereignty and peace offers hope for the region and the world.